Hello, artists. Today we're going to do one of the most challenging things in art. We are going to talk about photographing your artwork with a phone or a tablet, which is my preferred method. And the second part of what we are going to discuss and learn about today is actually trying to upload these photographs to a Google Classroom assignment, which is more challenging when you're using a phone or tablet. I will give you an alternative if you cannot borrow a phone or a tablet to photograph your artwork. There is another way to do it, but I think many artists would prefer this phone or tablet method. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. It's going to take a little while. I would like you to go back to this video and rewatch sections of the video while you are doing this to help you out, but I will be there during class for you today to help you troubleshoot if you need it. So one of the tips that I have listed is use daylight. It's often much better if you can go outside. This is a little tricky, but I do usually go to a shady area. I'm not in the direct sunlight, but I am using the daylight, or I'm near a window with daylight. And you want to avoid harsh shadows. So for example, if you have trees in your yard and they're making lots of really cool shadows, that's fabulous, but you don't want that on your artwork. So avoid those harsh shadows. You also want to hold your phone over the artwork in a parallel way. A lot of people think that you need to hold up your phone high to photograph artwork, but I actually put my art on the ground and I stand over my artwork. You could also do this on the table, but standing over your artwork when it's on the ground does help you make it more parallel. So I know that's counterintuitive, but you're actually going to place your artwork on the ground if you're a beginner, and you're going to stand over it with your phone. You do want to take your photo from a little farther away so there's a border so it doesn't distort it, and you are going to be cropping your artwork. So think about using the light from the sun and not artificial light like I have right now because it's dark out. So you do want to do this during the day if you can, preferably by a window or outside in a nice shady spot. You're going to hold your phone or tablet parallel to your artwork, and the best way to do that is on the ground. And you don't want to get too close because it can distort it, so it's okay if you're a little farther away, but you will have to crop when you're finished. So don't worry if it's a little farther away, we will be cropping, and I'll show you a few ways to do that. Many of you know how to do that directly on your phone with the edit feature, but if not, I'll show you the cropping feature in slides. So here we go. I want to show you the assignment that you will be using to do this with. And before I even do that, I would like to show you my phone. So I have some artwork on my phone here that I've been working on. And this artwork isn't quite complete, but I want to show you my phone is parallel to it. So my phone is actually above the artwork. So I am going to hold it up. I want to make sure I don't have any really, really harsh shadows. Nothing is in there, and you are going to take the photograph as parallel as you can. Many of you can actually take the photograph and edit directly on there. So that's an option that you could do with your photo and editing. So if you would like to do that, you absolutely can, and many of you can crop right there and straighten and do that directly on a phone or a tablet. If you don't have your own, I totally get it. And you can maybe borrow one. Now, the trickiest part from here is to try and get that image onto your Google Drive somehow. And I know many of you will actually photograph your artwork and then you can send it to an email. I'll show you a different way to do it, but you can definitely use your own methods for this step. So the next step would be to get this image to a place where you can use it on the computer. So there's also airdrop options. I can airdrop right to my computer. But today I'm going to show you how you can put it directly in Google Drive. So you can email it to yourself, or I'm going through my apps. And I'm going to go to more, and I actually want to put it directly into my Google Drive. If you have more than one account, make sure you're choosing your school account. And you can even select the folder, which is convenient that you want to put it in. And I can put it right there. Save here, and upload your file directly to your Google Drive. So that's one way of doing it. There are many, many, many different ways that you can use. So I am going to now switch over and show you where the assignment is. And this part is a little bit challenging and it's not very intuitive. So I'm actually going to go to our class. So our accelerated art class, there's a lot of different ways to find your assignment, but just for purposes of this demonstration, I am going to show you on the classwork tab. It will look different because I see the teacher view, so there will be some differences. So I'm going to click on the sketchbook cover image and artist statement assignment. And when you actually see the assignment, yours will be a little different. You can click view assignment, but you will see 8th grade sketchbook cover art project slide. And this is a slide that I want you to click on. There's one for every single one of you. And when you click on that, it gives you some instructions. So it'll tell you that this is a sketchbook cover project, insert your image, and you have an artist statement. So that's your assignment, but now we have to get your image of your artwork onto this slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and it gives you a whole bunch of choices on Google Slides. So if you were able to upload it from your phone or device into Google Drive, you can go to Google Drive. If you did that right before the lesson, it will be right there in your recent. If not, you might have to search and go through those folders where you moved it to. That's always the hardest part for me. Double click it and it will go right on top of your slide. Then from there, you can resize it. And if you have not had the opportunity to crop it on your device, and you do want to cover that box as best you can, you might have to turn it. If yours is landscape orientation, you can use this top little guide to turn it. I want to keep my portrait orientation. But if you didn't get a chance to crop it, there is a crop function. Sometimes you don't see it until you click on the image. So click on the image, you'll see that blue box around it. But what has happened that you might not see is up here in the toolbar, an extra icon has appeared. It looks like a little kind of sideways cross. That is the crop image. If you go too far to the right, it says mask image, but either way you can click it, and that puts a second black line around your artwork. And from there you can move it a little bit and then you can crop it as well. But the trick to that is when you're all done moving it, then you have to click the crop button again. You have to click your image, click crop, change it, and crop again. Then you have an artist statement that you have to fill out. Please answer all of these questions completely in full sentences. Take your time doing that. I know a title is hard to come up with, but it's good practice to start doing that. And make it as professional as you would like. You can even delete the questions if you would like. If you're having trouble, if you cannot photograph your artwork outside, if you don't have a separate device to do it, many of you have cameras directly on your computers or devices that you use for Google Classroom every day. So another way to do this would be to go to Insert Image, just like I did before. Insert Image is the top one. And instead of going to Drive or Upload, you can go to Camera. And this is a little bit more challenging to use a camera to do this. So sometimes I even get a piece of tape and I make one of those little backwards rolls with my tape. And I tape my artwork to a folder. I'm going to tape it today to my binder. And I just made a teeny tiny little roll of tape. And I'm going to stick my artwork on there so you don't see my fingers too much, hopefully, on the artwork. And I'm going to try and hold it up in front of the computer, which is very challenging because now I can't see it really. And you want to try to get it as even as possible, which is very, very hard because whatever you do in the computer is basically the opposite. So it's kind of like a weird mirror image thing. So you do the best you can. And again, this isn't the ideal method. It's much easier to take a separate photograph, but do the best you can. Click camera, insert, and you're going to have this really weird picture and you're probably going to be in it or you have some fingers in it. Either way, you're definitely going to want to crop this. So again, you need to click on the image, crop will appear, you drag those black lines from the side, and it's okay if you actually crop out some of your artwork. A lot of people don't know if they can do that or not. That's actually okay in the art world. And now it got really small, so I'm going to make it much bigger. And you can play with formatting. You do want it to look similar. Again, you can see this is a little grainy. It's not as great, but at least it's something. At least I can see your artwork. And probably the bigger objective for me as your teacher is to have you start collecting images of your artwork. So as you continue to make art in the future, you can look back and see your growth as an artist. You also have a record of everything that you've created, which is really awesome. Now, here's the weird thing about Google Classroom that's totally separate from photographing your artwork. Whenever you do an assignment like this that opens in a new tab, you have to go back to the Google Classroom assignment tab. So I have a bunch of tabs open. When I clicked on this assignment, it opened a new tab automatically. When I am all done and I've answered all my questions and I'm ready for my teacher to assess it, I have to go back to the tab, and my tab says schedule, but yours will say either mark as complete or turn in. Please click that. So please don't forget to go back and forth and mark it complete when you're done. It's the equivalent of having your homework totally completed, but in your backpack. If it's in your backpack and complete, your teacher doesn't know that you're ready to turn it in. So you have to click that mark complete on Google Classroom. It's not the end of the world if you forget. I will totally remind you, but it is a weird glitch that as a teacher, I think is kind of an extra silly step, and I wish they had it directly on the assignment, but they don't. So please try to remember to always go back and mark your assignments complete. I hope this helped you. This is a very long process. It can be confusing for some people, but if you don't get it right away, I'm here to help you. And after a few tries, we will work on it and we will get it together. Good luck, artists.